All right, are we on Facebook Live? Are we good? All right. So. I got everybody. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. Today, I'm officially launching my campaign for governor of the great state of Kansas. I come with a message. I am the conservative candidate in this race, and I will not back down from a fight. I am in the best position to defeat liberal Laura Kelly in 2022. Kansas voters want a governor who will actually bring about real change. I am the only candidate in this race with a consistent record of conservative accomplishment. I started out as an intern for Bob Dole, was a White House fellow to President Reagan, state representative, senator, lieutenant governor, governor, and proud Trump appointee. And at the same time, I've been a surgeon, a businessman, a father of 3 beautiful daughters, and a leader who's made a real decision in people's lives. I'm a leader that's made decisions on their financial life, their physical life, their life-saving situations. We are here for Kansas, and under my leadership as governor, Kansas had a $900 million surplus. Get this. More Kansans were working than ever before in the history of the state. Household income was at its highest point, and we had a record number of new small businesses. I saved Kansas taxpayers $2 billion in Medicaid, and we were the most pro-life, pro-family state in America. Now, we all know conservative change isn't easy. When a conservative leader stands up and makes real change, they're going to shoot at you from every direction. The other side will attack you in every way possible. As a volunteer physician in about 20 war zones around the world, I know how difficult it is in places like the Rwandan genocide and Afghanistan. But when it comes to serving people, I won't back down from the fight. I am not afraid of being shot at, either literally or figuratively for that matter. Republicans must nominate a governor not only with the courage of their convictions, but has the proven experience to actually see conservative policies put into place. Kansans have an opportunity to change course. We have an opportunity to have a leader for a pro-family, conservative, pro-constitutional values. Right now, we have a governor who would prefer to open our borders and close our schools. We have a governor who tries to keep people from celebrating Easter together while declaring abortion clinics essential. We have a governor that says convicted felons should get vaccines before law-abiding Kansans with life-threatening medical conditions. And we have a governor who at the end of 2020, when 1/3 of Kansas small businesses went bankrupt, she said our economy was thriving. And then, when the budget allows it, then she vetoes common sense tax reform that would benefit every single Kansan. That is not who we are. We must get Kansas back on track. We must eliminate the unemployment fraud that has already cost us $600 million. And most importantly, we must have a governor that respects the freedoms provided to citizens in our Constitution. We must have a governor that won't shut down our way of life or impose never-ending restrictions on small businesses. We need to focus on a bright future for Kansas. We must look ahead. Now, the Democrat machine is going to throw everything they have into Kansas in order to keep the governor's office. That's why it's important that Republicans unite behind the one candidate who can not only win in November, but will actually enact conservative policies. My campaign is rallying Republicans across the state of Kansas. I want to earn your vote, not only with conservative policy. I want to earn your vote with an unwavering record of conservative accomplishment. And together, we will defeat liberal Laura Kelly in 2022. And with that, I am very proud today to be here with my good friend, Senator Roger Marshall. We're both fifth-generation sons of Western Kansas. We both felt the call to serve, not only as physicians, but also in public policy. And with that, I'd like to turn to Senator Marshall. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, good morning, everybody. If there's one thing that's become clear over this last year of the epidemic, it's that we need a new governor in 2022 so we can get the Kansas economy back on track, get our kids back in school and keep them in school, protect our religious freedoms and keep our churches open, and respect and restore Kansas values. Like Jeff just said, we're both fifth-generation kids from rural Kansas, and I've had the privilege of knowing Dr. Colyer as a friend for actually some 30 years since our days in medical school just down the road here. I can tell you he's the same person today as when we first met. A trustworthy, plain-spoken Kansas doctor whose yes is his yes, his no is his no. He's one of us. He's always been humble and never afraid of work. He's always valued the sanctity of life. Having managed successful medical practices and businesses around the globe, he's no career politician and doesn't speak or act like a politician. His experience managing businesses is an important part of his resume that Kansans should look at. As whether you're overseeing the state unemployment insurance program, preventing fraud, or implementing an urgent statewide vaccination program, Dr. Colyer's executive experiences will come in handy as the CEO for Kansas. As governor, we don't have to guess what Dr. Colyer will do and how he'll lead us. He's done it before. He's left our state with nearly a $1 billion surplus by cutting wasteful spending, cutting red tape, running our state's successful Medicaid program like a business, and funding our schools. Loyalty's in short supply these days. And just like he's been a loyal friend to me all these years, Jeff is the person we can count on to stay loyal to the traditional Kansas values we were both raised on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to endorse Dr. Jeff Colyer to be our next governor for the great state of Kansas. Jeff?
Yep. No, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Appreciate that.
And with that, I think we're probably ready to take a couple of questions. Come on up, Roger.
Dr. Colyer, how will you do something different than Governor Laura Kelly when it comes to combating this pandemic and moving the state forward?
Absolutely. For starters, you make sure that things work. Kansas was ranking 47th, 49th in testing. Kansas consistently ranked 47th, 49th in vaccinating people. We were slow to get things done. You need to actually get the job done. And much better organized, we would accomplish those things. What's important, though, is that we would also make sure that we open the Kansas economy. We get smarter every day. Let's trust our small businesses to get our economy going.
Governor, what did you know about the structural issues at the Department of Labor when you were governor, and what steps did you take to modernize that system?
Yeah. So one of the things is we discovered some of those problems as we were there. And we started looking at how do we start to solve this issue. Every state got flat-footed in it. But what I have learned is that there are lots of ways that we could do this. For example, our neighbors to the north of us, Nebraska, they installed a brand new system. They didn't have to write it from scratch. Cost about $4 or $6 million to do it. And what they did is they took something that was off the shelf that other states had did, and as part of that, it actually incorporates all of the state law changes in it on a regular basis. Those are the types of solutions that we do. Let me give you another example of how I've been modernizing the state. Kansas was the first state to actually allow you to have an app on your phone where you could renew your license tags. We're starting that modernization process here, and we're going to go at it.
Governor Colyer, was your 2020 endorsement of Senator Marshall contingent on his support today?
Absolutely not. You know what? Roger Marshall is there fighting for us. This battle that we have, he's been in the trenches here over the last few years. I've been with him there, and I'm very honored to be in the foxhole with Roger Marshall. Continuing on with this is just another step. We're now in a different situation where we have Democrats running our state, we have Democrats running our country, and they're running it into the ground. And I'm thrilled to be with Roger Marshall, and I hope that you continue to stand up.
Absolutely.
Dr. Colyer, some polls show over 40% of Republicans won't get the vaccination. Is part of your campaign going to be encourage them to do so, or not?
Yeah, I would encourage Kansans to get the vaccine. But they need to make their own informed decisions, and we need to make sure that they get all of the information so that they can do that.
Governor, look, you said a lot about Laura Kelly, but we probably need to talk about Derek Schmidt a little bit, because you've got to beat him probably first. And so how are you going to distinguish yourself between yourself and the Attorney General, and also the fact that the Attorney General's already picked up at least one high-profile endorsement from Helen Van Etten, which would seem, I mean, that's a pretty good endorsement. I mean, she's been around Kansas politics for a while. So can you talk about how you're going to separate yourself from the Attorney General?
Look, I am the conservative in this race. I've been here all along fighting for conservative values and actually getting them done. That's what's important, is I have the record as governor, a $900 million surplus. More Kansans working than ever before in the history of the state. We started changing the state and getting us in the right direction. I am thrilled. I'm absolutely excited to talk about our record of accomplishment.
How is he not conservative then?
You know, I'll let him explain his stance. Here's what I'm for. I'm for making sure that our state is growing, that we return to conservative values, that we actually get it done. That's what I'm about.
Governor, you say over and over again that you're the conservative in this race.
Mm-hmm.
The inference to draw from that is that Derek Schmidt is a moderate who's tried to burnish his conservative credentials in recent years. Is that the dividing line of this primary?
I think there is going to be a clear difference between how we've approached things historically, currently, and in the future.
Governor, would you have signed the tax bill that the governor vetoed Friday?
Absolutely.
Okay. You keep saying that there was near $1 billion, $900 million.
We had a $900 million surplus.
That didn't happen until the legislature overturned most of the Brown-Back tax cuts. As a matter of fact, that's where that started.
That's
Look at the revenue.
And then when you look at the revenue and see that we had more Kansans working than ever before in the history of the state, that we actually had more jobs available than there were Kansans working for them, that's how you get a surplus. And you go ahead and you keep working on it. You make government more efficient. And that's what it takes. It takes a long term that you keep fighting for this.
So you're saying, Governor, that the tax cuts, the Brown-Back tax cuts, quote unquote, would have worked if given more time because they were producing jobs and the revenue situation would have taken
I'm not talking about past. I'm talking about where are we going as a state. And where we need to go as a state is we need to be a pro-life state, one that follows our Constitution. We need to have a state that has pro-growth economic policies, where our tax rates are low, that our regulations are low, that we're not closing down businesses and starting all sorts of restrictions on small businesses. I'm looking forward.
Last question.
Governor,
To the end of looking forward, though, I mean, how much of that should involve a return to the kinds of aggressive tax policies we saw in the Brown-Back administration? Would you support going further than what the legislature did with the bill the governor vetoed?
I think the legislature had a good policy that would have benefited every single Kansan. I would have been happy to sign that. I think that's a great place to start. What we need to do is we need to look forward. We're coming out of a pandemic. We need to make sure that we're getting our tax policy in the right place. You know, people are moving to Florida and to Texas because there aren't an income tax down there. And we need to look and see how can we improve Kansas to be more competitive than all of our neighbors.
And we'll have no Medicaid expansion if you don't go.
No. Okay, I think we're done for now. We'll do a couple little sidebars with folks if you want. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.